Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to install your Microshift Centos 10-speed rear derailleur to your bike. So let's go ahead, let's take a look. So here we have the rear derailleur, as you can see. So I'll just point a few things out before I go ahead and actually fit it onto the bike. First, so you can see some of the things you're looking for. So you got your pinch bolt there for the cable. So that's a 4mm Allen key. Then you've got your mounting bolt there to the actual hanger, which is a 5mm Allen key for that. And the torque on that is between 8 and 10 Newton meters of torque on that when it's fitted. You've got the barrel adjuster there for the cable. Then you've got your low screw at the bottom, the high screw there, which I'll get into what they do when I'm fitting it. And then you've got your B adjustment screw just there, that one there. And you've got obviously your guide pulley and your tension pulley is the lower one. So let's go ahead, let's get this fitted. So first thing we've got to do is obviously with your 5mm hex head is mount it to the hanger here. So what you want to do is put a bit of anti-seize on the threads there before you go and screw that in. Just stop it getting seized on there at a later date. And then what I'm going to do is start it off, make sure you're not cross threading it on there. So start that off, you can hold the derailleur up like that as you're threading it in slightly. So there's the screw at the back there. The B screw, so he comes round and touches on the hanger like that. So you just thread it on like that, and then when you're threading it on, just push down so as the B screw is hitting the hanger like that. Just hold it there, and then just carry on and screw it down. Just keep hold of it and just pinch it like that. And then you go ahead and torque that up, like I said, between 8 and 10 Newton meters of torque. So just torque that up like that. So that's the derailleur mounted on there. See, it moves up and down like that. So where the B screw is at the back there, it moves, lifts off the hanger like that, so that's not a problem, that's what it's supposed to do. So that's that mounted on there. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead, I'll show you the next step. So we've mounted it on the hanger, so what you want to do now is get behind the derailleur and look in. I'll show you as best I can. The guide pulley, which is the top one, is just there, like that. So this is the back of the cage, so you just push down on it, as you can see there, like that. So with it held down like that and up, what you're looking for is that guide pulley, the top one, needs to be underneath the smallest cog on the cassette. So as you can see at the moment, it's underneath the second one in, so that won't be any good. That's the limit screw, that's where it stops, so that's no good like that. So what you want to do is go on the high screw, which is the top one there. So get onto that, and if you turn it, which is anti-clockwise, it's moving it over towards the smallest cog. If you turned it the other way, it's moving it back across the other way. So in this case we need to move it underneath, which is anti-clockwise there. So just get that so it's underneath, in line with that, the smallest cog. And then that's that one, that'll be that set there. So once you're happy with that one, then what you need to do is, obviously the low screw there is the opposite, so that's the highest, the largest cog on the rear. So you push that across like that. So I'll just readjust the camera and show you that. So all we do is pull down on the cage like that, and then just push the derailleur over so we can see where it's going to stop. So you can see there, you need it stopping literally just past, towards the spokes, just past the largest on the rear. So if we look at that, then that's about right there. If you need to adjust it, obviously your low screw is that lower one, so you just turn it. I say if you turn that, I'll just wind it right in so you can see that stops there, which is the second one in, so that's no good. So if I back that out, anti-clockwise, it'll move it over towards the spokes more, like that. So a little bit more. So it needs to be just towards the spokes, just slightly, about the width of the cog towards the spokes. Like that, as you see there. So that's the low and the high screws both adjusted, so they're just the limit screws of where the derailleur stop. So it stops underneath the smallest one, and then obviously there, when the cable's hooked up, it'll be underneath then the largest at the rear. The cable will just take up that little bit of tension, and it should be underneath the largest by just adjusting the screws. That's all those two screws are doing, is just setting the limits, nothing else. So now we've done that, we can get the cable hooked up. So now you're happy with the limit screws, then we can hook the cable up. Now before you hook this cable up, there's a couple of things just to check. Make sure your shifter up on your bar is shifted down so as you would be on the smallest cog at the rear. So just check that it is shifted down to there before you hook the cable up. If it's not shifted down to the smallest one, then you'll hook the cable up and then go to use the shifter and you'll only have like half the gears because it was set in the wrong place to start with. So make sure it's set down to the lowest, smallest cog. So once you've done that, then also what you need to do is check your barrel adjuster. Say if you was fitting one that you didn't know wasn't new, for instance, is wind that barrel adjuster in till it stops clockwise, so it's hit the bottom, and then just back it out about a turn, and then you're ready to hook your cable up. So you need to get that cable in place. See, straight down through the middle of the barrel adjuster like that and out the bottom, and then your cable goes into there and sits inside like that. And then you've got a 4mm Allen key for the cable, so you put the cable under the pinch bolt like that and then hook that cable up. So what I'll do is I'll just show you how to hook that up so you got a bit of tension on it to start with. So what you do is you can grab the end of your cable. If yours is a brand new cable, then it could be a lot longer. So you just grab hold of that cable like that. Then you can just put a bit of pressure on the cable. So pull on it while you're hooking up the cable. So do up pinch bolt as you're pulling on that cable. Then just snug it up initially, and then just hold on to the derailleur and then tighten that down, pinch it up tight, and that's the cable installed in there. So the next thing you need to do after you hook the cable up is what we'll do is we just shift across, go up to your shifter and then shift all the way over across like that, and just check that you've got all the gears and that the derailleur guide pulley ends up underneath where it should be, like that, underneath the largest sprocket on the cassette. So you can just check that, and then obviously you can shift back down again like that, just to make sure you've got them all. And then we can go ahead and fit the chain and then check the indexing, make sure it's correct as we shift up and down the gears. So as you see, we've got the chain fitted now. So what I'll do is shift from the smallest all the way across to the largest on the cassette and just show you what to look out for. And that's with the B screw, which is the screw in there. So just check that's adjusted correctly. Yours might well be, you might not need to touch it, but it's always worth having a look because it affects the shifting if it's incorrectly adjusted. So I'll just show you that. Right, so with the B screw adjustment, I'll just show you what we're talking at. Is between the guide wheels, top one there, and the largest cassette sprocket on here, what you want is a gap so the chain passes cleanly onto the guide wheel from the largest sprocket. If it's too tight and that gap exaggerated, closed right up, then you might find that you shift across and it gets the second one in and it won't go over, it won't shift to the largest because it's getting caught as it goes over because there's not enough room for the chain to pass through. And if you've got too big a gap, I exaggerate and open the gap up like that, that's too big a gap because when you shift in down, it'll make the shifting sluggish on the way down because the gap is much too big. You just need a gap of like 5mm roughly, just so as that chain passes through there cleanly, the width of the chain basically, so as it comes off of here onto that guide wheel nice and smooth like that, and that'll be, make sure the shifting's okay. So I say again, you might not need to adjust that, it might be set up perfectly as it is, but it's always worth checking before you do anything else. And when it comes to the adjustment of the, obviously you've got your barrel adjuster there, so over time your chain, your cable will stretch slightly, so you might need to adjust the barrel adjuster over time anyway. But what effectively that's doing is just altering the cable tension. So if I just shift down from the top there onto there, and then I'll just keep pedaling like that. If I alter the barrel adjuster, then you can hear straight away that it's not set up correctly there. So if I just tweak that barrel adjuster until it's running smooth like that, and that could be on any gear. You could be 4 cogs in, and that could be doing that, slightly skipping. Then you might need to go to your barrel adjuster and just adjust it. Obviously what it's doing is if you wind that anti-clockwise, then you're adding tension to the cable, you're tightening the cable up, and then vice versa. If you wound it in clockwise, you're just letting the tension off the cable slightly. So if you've got one that's skipping, could be in the middle of the cassette, then just go to your barrel adjuster, just keep pedaling slowly round and just give that a few clicks at a time. You don't need to go screwing it in one way and screwing it all the other way. Just give it a few clicks to adjust it, to set it up so as it's running smooth on, and then check all the gears and obviously shift up onto your front outer chainring as well, and check your gears on the outer chainring and make sure that you've got them all on the rear, even when you're on the front outer chainring and the inner. So double check all that, and then when you're happy with everything, what you do is snip your cable to length. So always cut your cable last when you finish doing anything. Just cut that cable to length there, and then we'll just get an end stop and crimp on there to stop the cable end all fraying. So just get an end stop on there, put that on the cable like that, and then we just crimp it on. Give it a couple of crimps with your pliers. That's the end stop fitted on the cable. So that's the install complete now on the derailleur. So I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.